All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope y'all are doing well. Let's see, who do we got in here this morning? Mr. Mustang, good morning, aka new subscriber. Great to have you here. Shaky John, good morning to you as well. Decent looking charts today, not great. But just kind of glancing through, I already have a few theses in place. And I saw Mr. Mustang. Limitless Engineer, Polly, Hank, good morning to you all. I saw Mr. Mustang said something about gold, I think. Yeah, first red day, failed high of day. That's kind of what I was thinking too. Indexes. Had a pretty strong thesis yesterday that was not wrong. But it went the wrong way. No worries. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are in the world. I hope you're doing well. Great to have you all here on this fine Thursday morning. We can't see you. You can see me now. All right. Before we get started, as always, I have got to just let you all know that I am not a financial advisor. The information on this channel is provided for education, informational purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. Please feel free, pause the stream, read through this. Great. Let's go. All right, NASDAQ, starting off strong with this one. Okay. I've left my notes up here from yesterday, so that way we can kind of just see how the templates continue to adapt, continue to grow, and reading the book from left to right. All right, we started over here from last Friday. We had a large dump down. Hey, Lori, good morning. And then we had a first green day and a breakout day one here on this Tuesday, this Monday, which is also the opening range for the current week. This had triggered previous week's low on Friday, and this. So the thesis being, hey, this could have been a lower low, so maybe we're looking for a 3-day setup to continue back down towards the low on a Wednesday. So we had Monday making a lower low, triggering previous week's low, pumping back up to or towards the high, giving us the first red day on Tuesday, which was great. I mean, this was fantastic. Even on Wednesday, triggering previous day's low and making a lower low on the inside of the current week's range. And then on the day, they even made a lower low. And then instead of following through, which would have been a perfect template, now we've gone back towards the high. So now I have to adapt. This is going to happen. This happens quite frequently. And you just have to be able to go with the flow, if you will. All right, so we've got a 3-day failed first red day that has now gone back towards the high. So the thesis could be, we've made a lower low, and then we've gone back to the high. We have 1 day. Actually, they canceled out yesterday, so 2 days. And then now, today, on the day, we have broken out. Okay. And we have continued to go higher. We got kind of a 3 peaks here, but if I was going to trade this, I'm going to skip the ads. This is a big if, all caps, with an exclamation mark. If I was going to trade this, what setup would I have to take? I would have to take the 3 sessions of breakout setup outside of a previous day's range, and I would have to take it back towards the previous day's high. That's the only setup that would ever be valid in a situation like this. I can't go long. The only thing I have is short, and it would have to be some sort of scalp back towards the previous day's high. All right. That's a big if. US 30, 3 days of, first red day yesterday, 2 days ago. Okay, kind of similar to the NASDAQ. We had a pump up off of Monday, first red. Then we had 3 days of longs in the market on Wednesday. Day 1, day 2, day 3 of longs in the market. We even had a lower low. And now they've, again, similarly, whenever a new structural level is made, a lot of times they go back to the high for a retest. So the retest will either succeed or it will fail. But we're at levels right now, which is good. We've broken out of previous day's levels. We're at the high of the day. We'll see. Okay, gold. By the way, I just want to point this out. I know I'm saying words about each of these pairs just to give you my thoughts. I don't have a strong thesis for any of these. Okay, I'll let you all know. I'll tell you if I have a little bit stronger conviction on something, and I usually do. I feel like I'm pretty good about that. But right now, I'm saying words about instruments that I don't have extremely strong thesis on or for, and more than likely, I'm going to look for some kind of 3-session scalp or scalp in general. US 30, same. Gold. I could, of course, I can change in an instant. You all seen me flip in an instant and things. I'll hold it for a little bit longer if it actually, grows and starts ripping in a direction. So Monday, they had a breakout of Friday's high as a breakout day. And I think that was actually, so this was breakout day 1 from Friday, breakout day 2 on Monday. Third day of longs triggered into the market on Tuesday. And then they've gone back to the high again today at the high of the week. Went up, triggered it, slammed back down, which could just be a higher high. Higher high and a failure to make a new low. We did have a first red day, which was also an inside bar. Yeah, that's not it. There we go. I mean, inside day was also a first red. They've triggered the high. It's going to set some money back down at the other end of the range. We also have those, the breakout traders being triggered in. Again, I'm not saying this is going to do this. I don't really know. We don't have a front side break either. All right, I would say this is probably the front side of the move here. All we have been doing is making higher highs and higher lows. So I would need to see that change. This is a 15. Let's go down to a 5. Yeah, even on the day. Look at this. We have a high in place. We have a low in place. They go higher. They come back down. So at this point, this is my low here. And this is my high up here. And this big move down is a big move down. It doesn't make a lower low, though. That's what I'm trying to say. Which is kind of unfortunate, because that would have been a really cool setup to look for. Let's go to the Russell. Okay, now the Russell, again, I do not have a strong conviction for any of these. But if you came to me and said, I'm going to force you to trade one of these, which one do you think is the best? I would have to say the Russell, because let me zoom out here and we'll chit chat about it. Breakout day 1 on Monday, breakout day 2 on Tuesday, breakout longs triggered into the market day 3, and a first red day on Wednesday. Okay, and a first red day on Wednesday. And they have not triggered the previous day's low. However, on the day today, we've pumped it back to the high. And then once we got there, we pumped it all the way up here. Boom, boom, boom. We pulled back in 2 bars. Went a little bit lower over here. Pumped it back up. 1, 2, sideways. 3 to the high. Engulfment. Bit of a lower high scenario here. So we've got a slightly lower low. And potentially a lower high being put in place right now as we speak. We got 4 minutes to the open. Again, if you forced me and said, hey, you have to take something or you have to look for something, I would say the Russell would be my best bet based off of criteria and actual trading setups. Not really happy with the screen today. I have to agree. And I'm going to sit here. I think me sitting on my hands with you all through a session, a lot of people have told me that's beneficial just to hear my thoughts as the session continues, and just hopefully see a little bit of patience being demonstrated. All right. Oil, we've got quite a few days of breakouts. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 days down. Time to go long, right? Not necessarily. If there is a higher high, if there is a front side break, something like that, that's usually when I'm going to be looking for this setup. So as of right now, let me see here. Let me adjust this. I had this drawn a certain way yesterday because this consolidation up high breaks down from here. And then we've got the lower highs being put in place. So I had it drawn like this. Okay, so we do have a bit of a front side break following through to a lower low. No higher high. Okay, so I can't really do anything with oil. The only thing with oil I could look for would be a trend trade, but I'm just not willing to do that because we're already 4 days down. I'm going to feel really stupid asking this. What is today? August 7th. The big boys are on holiday. I was about to ask what holiday. We got 2 minutes to the open. We got oil up here. We got Nasdaq. Just because it's in a downtrend. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You know, normally I just look for the setup. We've got 3 days down or 4 days down. I look for the setup, but if it's not there, then it's not there. We don't have a higher high. Okay, I'm going to leave the Russell up here. I'm going to take oil off here, and I'm going to put gold just because of the first red day in the inside bar. I'd like to watch it and just kind of, keep an eye on it. Again, my main focus, though, I think it's going to be probably the Russell. Okay, we got 1 minute to the open. Okay, Russell, big drive off the open. I don't trade right at the open, but at the very least, it's kind of doing what I would have expected, right? We talked about the lower low, the triggering of the high. It's possible. So let's keep taking a look. Let's keep taking a stare, if you know what I mean. Four minutes left on this bar. It's a pretty big bar. Okay, looking for follow through. We want to see it close really weak. You know, we don't want it to just dip down, wick, and then go the other way. Which right now kind of seems like what it's doing. Could very well be. We want to wait for this bar to close. Really want to see it close lower. It hit my 20. Paulie loves his 20. Did it hit the top side, Paulie, or the bottom side? Well, obviously it's going to hit the top side. So maybe it's maybe this is the stop hunt to the low before we go higher. Maybe. Very well could be, huh? Market making higher highs on a daily scale. Continuing to squeeze and go higher. Very well could be. Oh my goodness, my phone just keeps on vibrating over and over again. Not the right time. Okay, so we've got a very different... This was looking good. Things changed. They shifted. And now, if it closes like this, this is horrible. Yeah, Shaky, you remember how you always say you're the one that says this too. You have an opinion and I have an opinion, and that's what makes up a market. I never look at these people that call the crashes and things like that are whatever. You know, I can be happy for their success and glad that they've done well. But if Bob Beckman said it was going to crash, and then some other guy said it was going to go up, that's what makes up a market. Somebody has to be right. Right? Somebody has to be correct. That's why you see all these people that are like, oh, crypto, it's going to go to $4 billion by tomorrow. You know, some of the stuff you see is just outrageous. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, okay. Okay, I'm still watching the Russell, but right now I'm really just watching it fake everybody out. Back and forth. Gonna need to see something a little bit more clean than that. What is that? Look at this. They wicked up, they wicked down. It's a pretty big opening range on all indexes. Let's see how many bars they keep on the inside of there. Yeah, I mean, if it's going to go down, it's going to have to come back up eventually, right? am still watching the Russell closely. Fed noise today at 10. Well, what is the Fed doing at 10? Because I just looked at the calendar and there wasn't anything on there. Fed boss. Oh, okay. Well, all right then. No, yeah, 100%, Joanne. I didn't see anything on there, so I was confused. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, Russell, dipping back down into the bottom of this range. But will it actually continue? Will it actually allow that guy to make money? Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes they drag non-red things to the plate. Yeah, that's also true. I really want to see them. It's hard to say at this point because this is an odd situation where they've on the first 5 minutes of the open they put this wick all the way down here, which can be very frustrating to trade because it leaves me wondering, where are the shorts going to start making money? And I would say probably right around here. We've got a 3 push pattern to the high, a slightly lower low. If they close lower than this, I'd probably feel a lot better about entering. But I really want to be careful because this is going higher and making higher highs, and now you all are telling me that there's some Fed thing being spoke. So they could just be holding it in this range. Look at this. They close it almost equal with this as a third push. 1, 2, 3, but not low enough to actually make money. Is it going to play the range? It's another bar closed on the inside of the opening range for the session. Yeah, exactly. On a daily scale, making higher highs. Wait, people really just want to blow up my phone this morning at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's insanity. When they do that, it makes me think they are faking. Yeah. Yep. It's a little worrisome. It's a little troublesome. Carlo, good morning. I gotta tell you, I've been loving doing these streams. I used to have fun doing them before, but I don't know why. But this time around, where I've been consistently doing them, it's just a lot more fun. All of you that show up every single day, you make it enjoyable. So I appreciate it. Not much volume around, yeah. And also, Shake, you got to look at the news schedule for this week. I mean, there's pretty much no news on the calendar. At least U.S. news, right? There's some other news, but I appreciate that, AK. There's really not much news on the calendar. Which is what I was talking about kind of at the beginning of the week, where we could really see kind of just markets hanging out and consolidating a lot. 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on this bar, hoping that it doesn't pin down. Let's see some follow through. You know what I mean? Let's get down there. Let's do something cool. You guys just trade indices and commodities or currencies as well? I used to trade currencies. That was where I made my start. Okay. However, with the swap over to futures, I went mostly to indexes, gold, oil. That's pretty much it. Yeah. Why didn't you take US? It looked good. Let's wait for the bar to close. We're at the opening range low right now, and we're fiddling around. And we're coming into a new hour. We're 45 minutes into an hour, which is great. But I really don't want to see them pinned down. Oh my gosh. I can't wait to show you all what I just did. I don't want to psych myself out of it. All right, so I shorted the Russell. And I shorted it a while ago. Let me figure out where. It was a little scary for a second because it was a little volatile. I actually don't know how to get my executions up on the screen. At least not on this platform. Hold on, just give me 1 second. Because I got stopped out on the first attempt. Which, it is what it is. It was a one position starter, and then it rolled over. So I tried again. How in the world? Okay, whatever. Yeah, John, that's not bad. That's not bad. This is what I've done. You all know me. I like getting in. I like sizing in and then just getting out, so we can avoid some games. Okay. This was a I don't want to like hype myself up because that's ridiculous, but I feel like this was good for me. All right. So we had the New York Open right here. This was 9:30. Let me blow this up. Let me explain my thought process as well. So we're back to the high. So the thesis that we talked about this morning, we had a first red day, no previous day's low having been triggered. You know, no big deal. We had a front side of a move, and yesterday it did actually make this lower low. So this lower low here could indicate that we're going back to the high and that the high potentially could fail. I don't know that it will, but we're going back to the high of the week. So if it were to fail, I want to be a part of that. And it gets back up to the high, and you get this little three-peak, lower low, and a retest. So we came in and we started chit-chatting with each other this morning right here, 9:15. And here was the open, which that was a big opening drive, and it actually made me very nervous, but I shorted it anyways. All right, because it just looked too good. It looked too good. I used a limit. I got triggered in. Let me look. Yeah, I got triggered in on the limit, and then I ended up getting stopped out above this breakout bar's high. All right, this is a breakout fake out bar, and I got stopped out. But then seeing this, that it started to reconfirm again, this could potentially have been a breakout fake out bar. So on the close lower than this bar's low, I started shorting. So I short on this bar here. Okay. I added into my position on the break of this bar. So when this bar broke, I added another position. And then we had a retracement. So that's the part that was a little scary, because now I've sized in or added into a position, and I would prefer to have seen it just continue from this point. But obviously, you know, that's in a perfect world. So I still have my stops in place. When it curled and started to rotate and fall over, I added another position on this bar here. Okay. When it followed through on this bar, I added another position, and then it came down and hit my take profit, which was down in here. So I had in total 4 minis on this. I was able to size into 4 minis on this. Okay, not super far, but the way that I was adding and scaling. Okay, hold on. I need to stop for a second. I need to backtrack because I'm missing a very, very important detail to what I just said. Hold on, there's ads. I don't want you all to miss because of ads. No. You know? Is everybody back from the ads yet? Did anybody get the ads? I can't go on talking about the most important detail, and I didn't even, as soon as you all get these ads that I usually will skip for you all, but I somehow have missed them. Everybody back? All right. Flipping ads. All right, so, John, I had my take profit under these previous little swing lows over here. Okay, which in reality, if you look at it, is about an expansion of the range, just about. All right, we've got one full expansion here. which is about where I took it. I took it a little bit lower than that, down over here. Which is where I really like taking profits. I like using levels. When we're this far away from a level, I will tend to just use expansions. But anyway, so the most important detail that I was talking about, the one that I said, you know, I was scaling in. I used 4 minis, which is a decent amount of size for me. That's, you know, I've scaled in pretty good. And the market has allowed me to scale in pretty good. I was at break even for a majority of that. Okay. So when I start scaling in that much, I'm doing it with the understanding that I'm going to reduce risk by keeping my stops at break even. Okay, I'm not just adding a bunch of size and then not protecting myself. Because if it goes against you, you're going to start to think extremely irrationally. When you have a lot of size on a trade and every tick counts, in profit is whatever. But when you start to see that red, and it's a lot more red than you're normally used to, you are going to start doing some weird things. So I like to protect myself. I go into it knowing that I'm going to protect myself. And if I get stopped out at break even with a lot of size on a trade, whatever. Who cares? Honestly, who cares? But this time it worked out really good. This is beautiful. Goodness gracious. This is gonna be a picture-worthy day. And it's not just take a picture of the day and say, hey, look how great this is. We need to make sure that when we journal this, it is accurately documented. Market had been going up for a long time. Okay. And this could open us up to a really good backside of the week trade. Especially if we get like breakout day 1 today or something to the downside. Shoe buddy. So we need to document accurately. This instrument here has been going up for, I'm going to say at least 6 weeks. It's probably been going up for at least 6 weeks. Okay, so we've got a lot of upwards momentum. They triggered the previous week's low. Was it right here? Oh, actually, they triggered it over here on the Russell. I didn't even notice that. Very well. Well, regardless of that, last week closed in breakout. Okay, so we've got 6 weeks up or more. Breakout week 1 down. Looking for a 3-day setup. 3 days of breakouts and a first red day. Front side of the move has been broken. And a retest of the high. Opening us up to this setup. This is the reason that we took the trade. Or at least I did. Lower low on the day. An extremely important detail. The level has been triggered. Timing and the time of day. So all of those things, if you go back and listen to this recording, and if you're going to take this and add it to your setups or add it to your repertoire of things that you want to look for, I would add those details, everything that I just said, onto your chart. So that way you can know what to look for going into the next setup. Because it's going to show up again. I've seen this before. That's what I'm talking about when a market makes a new extreme. It is always going to go back in some way, shape, or form, whether that be in the form of a higher high that then fails or a lower high. So we have a lower low. They go back for maybe a lower high. Not today. They went back. They tried to go higher, and the market said, nah. No thanks. Cool. Came into this with a really, low expectations. You all keep mentioning gold. What is gold doing? Okay, gold. What are y'all trying to do with gold? going to be a long day. There we go. Two minutes to the new hour, but that's my thoughts on here. Now I know that some of you are more than likely you have different setups. You have different ways of approaching and viewing things. Beautiful. If it's working for you, more power to you. This is how I would personally be looking at it. Gold was an inside day yesterday. Yes, it was. I think that you were saying that as more of a statement instead of a question, but yes. Yep. And it was also an inside bar in an up moving market. So we could be seeing a pause, right? This could be a pause in a market making higher highs and higher lows. And, I don't know. It could. We could be seeing it continue to expand higher. Shoot, buddy. That is beautiful. There are certain charts, when you see them, it just makes you feel good. Like, dang, that is a beautiful chart. What did oil end up? Oh, no. Okay, made a very good decision to get away from this. I took this off my screen altogether. Good stuff. Okay, gold. They have triggered the high, and I understand. I think maybe y'all are looking for the short. I'm not sure. And again, for my own criteria purposes, I would not be allowed to take this. But this is an if. This is a fake scenario. If they had made the lower low here, and the way that they've gone back to the previous day's high, if it were to actually break down, that's maybe what I would consider after an inside bar. Maybe going back for the money on the other side. Oh, sorry. This was just a demonstration, I guess, of the high and the low and everything in the middle being kind of consolidation at this point. We're just sitting inside of a range. Oil did it yesterday. Let's go take a look. I might not have seen it, if we're being honest. I'm a person too, right? I miss things. Oh, I did see it. And I was tracking it. I just didn't take it. Oh. No, that's why I didn't take it. The lower low didn't come until right here. 10 o'clock. There was news at 10. And it looks like it never showed signs of follow through. We got push 1, push 2, push 3. Engulfment. What time was this? 11:10. So it was outside of the session. I don't trade it this time. I don't even trade 10:45. I think we turned off the stream yesterday at what, 10:30? So I wasn't even here trading. That's why. I just missed the timing wise. But criteria wise, it was good. One, 2, 3, pop back up. Yeah, it looks like I was tracking it. I was hunting. I was on the stalking it a little bit, but I just didn't quite make the kill, Anyways. Well, we chose correctly as far as which one to focus in on. It looks like the NASDAQ over here, looking at, what was 9:30 here, created a range. Never got follow through. This one also hadn't made the lower low like we saw on the Russell. US 30. So with the US 30, this is another one where I would have to say, you know, is it going down right now? Sure. Would I have been able to trade this? No. And looking at the chart, you know, why do you all think I would not have been able to trade this? Think about the way that I look at structure. We have a big leg up over here, which could be an exhaustion move, right? We have one bar to the high. We have one bar trading outside of that bar's low, so maybe not a very significant pullback. And then a rally to the high. So this is all one leg right here. This is all one leg up. Okay, there was no significant enough pullback that I could have said, hey, this is a level. This is a level that I need to be watching. So this lower low down over here on a higher time frame may be the reason that it's, you know, we get the lower low, they go back to the higher high fails. It looks really clean. Just on the day, I don't think I could really trade this because normally what I like to see is compression, which we do get compression, but it's just not the type that I can objectively say this is what I'm looking for and reproduce. I like things to be really reproducible in my own head. So it would have had to basically come up here like this, make a low like it did here, go higher, which it kind of tried to do over here, and it just didn't close any higher, so I can't consider that. I can't consider this a higher low unless this high is broken and closed above. So if this would have closed higher than this level, and then we get this move down and the pullback and the continuation, then I could have traded US 30 or YM on the futures. But it didn't do that. Gold is going to flush. Let's take a look at gold. All right, gold. What are my thoughts? Who is making money? Who's making the money? It's hard to say, actually. Honestly. I would need to see more evidence. And I would also need to see a lower low getting put in place, but it's not there yet. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to make this a short stream today. We have already executed a trade for any of you who maybe just joined, took the Russell, over and done with. Great trade. I'm going to go on about my day. It's time to get some food in the body and get a workout in. You have a great rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow, same time, 9:15 a.m. Eastern Time. Ready to go, ready to trade. See y'all then. Bye-bye.